Ab Imperio co-editor Alexander Semyonov, professor of Smolny College, will explain the idea of the seminar. So, Sasha, please, close off.
Probably I will start in English, and then we'll see how the linguistic protocol works out today. My pleasure meeting all of you, and thank you for taking time and effort to go out of your way and come to Kazan. We opened the seminar, and I have to say that the word of acknowledgement has to be out for Fond Содействия, which generously underwritten the event. The seminar is organized by Ab Imperio, and perhaps a few words about it. And it's always interesting to recapitulate what is Ab Imperio as a project. Project in the sense that it's not a still publication. It's developing, it's changing. And one of the ideas for the seminar came when we started to reflect that it's been actually 10 years now that the publication is out there. And as any formal gesture, that's a nice framing for having a conversation about, well, what was it about? Actually, we need to figure out for ourselves as a daily plebiscite for editors of where we started and where are we heading to. And our thoughts is about the future. It's very important for us to look at interesting, innovative, synthesizing, or opening new specialized ways of looking at things, projects that are out there. So that's one of the reasons to come together and talk. We write in our papers that Ab Imperio started as a project of translation in the field of nationalism studies to history and social sciences of the post-Soviet space. It's no longer the case. The journal has changed the title. There is an indication that there is an attempt to think creatively about a new paradigm that emerged as a result of talking to the colleagues, reading cross fields, learning from them, and developing our own thinking about history and social sciences in the post-Soviet space. The subtitle is The New Imperial History, as a working framework, not the theoretical dogma, but a working framework to address general questions rather than questions of particular empirical research. From the project of translation, it seems like Ab Imperio has evolved into, put the feelers out and then found something that can be said to be original and innovative. Not theory, but a way of asking questions that came out of the idea that we study empire not only as a historical phenomenon, not only as a historical experience, a particular polity, but also as a way to address, to produce critique of normative social paradigms of social sciences. This was one of the ideas throughout, and many people, and I'm saying this because I don't think the message is out there. I don't think the message is registered, and when you want to get the message registered, you have to reiterate it. Because many people say, "Oh, empire, yes, it's a hot topic." Yeah, of course, we understand. But apart from learning new things, opening, simply learning new things, really digging out them, it's also posing new questions that address, in our view, the core of history as a discipline. What we have here is very interesting. It seems like the logic of area studies, thinking about the region, a particular region, however it is constructed, has been one of the dimensions of work of ab Imperio. But the other one is opposite and contradictory to it, in a way. And that is the logic of a discipline, history as a discipline. So this is perhaps one of the tensions that we laid out for this seminar to talk. And I'm sure each of you encounters this problem, or probably not. Tell us about that. The problem of working in the region in the logic of area studies and yet representing a discipline, history, anthropology, political theory, art, sociology, however you define it, and literary studies. Sorry, Kevin.
It's okay.
And I'm kind of, giving the labels now, and you're free to contradict and propose your own definition of how do you see these two dimensions, because I think they're not fixed. It's not that, we know what the area studies as a context of production of knowledge is, and we know what discipline is, and the question is, how do you balance it? I think both of them are indeterminate in the present situation, and each of you define that individually, and that'll be the most interesting result for me. We may not be on the same page, but what used to be known as Russian history, clear and transparent, has been undergoing a series of rethinking and revising the boundaries. The growth of the Central Asian field, or the left, where Caucasus is it closer to the Russian history? Is it developing in its own area studies? And then what do we do with the area studies with the idea that we all think globally and locally, skipping and bypassing what used to be the contours of Eastern Europe, and we knew what that is, or Russia, or the post-Soviet space, and we knew what that is. And the disciplines, We can talk about history, but I do not want to, as the second element in this definition, and the way history is redefined, and the definition of the disciplinary knowledge is contested, but I don't want to pose the kind of hegemony of historians talking to others, but I think we can all talk in a way disciplines are also rethought. The idea is to have an exchange. It's important, and I learned as I read through the abstracts, and I was curious, particularly because, and I'm not talking about my own project, but which is also in here, but I was very curious to find how many mentions of comparison and comparative dimension are in there in the abstracts, in the descriptions of projects, in the projects themselves. Sometimes they are direct, sometimes they're indirect, of saying, what do we do with the post-colonial theory as we go to the post-Soviet space? It is comparative questioning. It is comparative questioning. It's also, all of a sudden, out of praxis, it emerged as one of the questions. And I think it is important to talk about that as we talk about setting the area studies logic for each of our projects. It also involves situation, which implies comparison in my view. And I learned also from all these interesting projects. Back to the format, the idea is, yes, to have a presentation, but also to open up your project in an attempt to address the general questions and talk to colleagues to make not to make it consciously closed, but to make it consciously open for other people. And I think this is what I wanted to say at the beginning.
Thank you.